The UCS Death Star is the first €1,000 LEGO set, and it's got a few issues, but to me the biggest problem with the set are the minifigures, because without them, it looks empty, lifeless, and boring. This means that the figure selection and quality here are even more important than usual, and I think what they ended up doing wasn't even close to good enough, to a point that it's borderline insulting. So in this video I'm going to make some changes to these figures that I think would actually make the set worth that insane price. First things first though, I need to rant, because that TIE Fighter gift with purchase absolutely 100% should have been part of the set. Like, this set costs €1,000 and they decided to chop off an entire ship and 3 minifigures to use as FOMO bait to scare people into buying it on launch. And it's not like there's another ship already there that this gift with purchase is like an optional extra for that you can just swap out if you prefer it. If you don't buy this €1,000 set within the first few days of its launch, your UCS Death Star will just have a blank, empty space where this GWP should have been, and you're down 3 minifigures. What's more, and this is the first time I've ever seen them do this, they show the UCS Death Star on Lego.com with the gift with purchase in it. Nowhere in this image does it clarify that the main subject of this promotional image doesn't actually come with the set. People like to throw around the term a lot, but that is actually blatant false advertising. I think they know how fucked up this was too, because they've since removed that image from their website, but like, you've showed your hand already. The damage is done. So absolutely the first thing I'd do here is make this gift with purchase a part of the set, which would add 2 Stormtroopers and a TIE Fighter pilot to this lineup, as they should have been from the start. So now let's go through the rest of the figures, starting with Farmboy Luke. I do like the look of him here. I think those nougat legs are definitely an improvement over the pure white ones, but when I went back and watched some footage from episode 4, he clearly has white boots. Like, look at these screenshots and tell me they don't match his shirt more than his pants. So what I did was give him dual molded legs here, with white for the bottom half and like a grey line to imply the texture of the bandage wrap. And I'm not sure if it's just me, but this does look kinda strange to me. I think it is more accurate, so I'll keep it anyway, but I'll leave it to you as to whether it's actually, like, better. The rest of these figures have more obvious upgrades, at least. The Stormtrooper version of him is fine, like, what can you even change here, so I'll just leave it as is. However, I think there should have been 2 of this figure included in the set, and I'll talk more about why a little bit later. For his episode 6 version, that newer hairpiece has grown on me a little bit, but I still think it's a little bit too low down on his forehead, especially looking at the source material. So I'd change or slightly modify the hairpiece to be a little bit further up on his face. Other than that, black boots with black pants makes dual molding pointless, so I'll just leave the figure as is. Princess Leia here is the first figure where I think they really obviously cheaped out on. I can't stand seeing these figures with plain, unprinted legs in a premium set anyway. What makes this worse is that for the 2019 Tantive 4 set, Leia also came with these unprinted white legs so that she can sit down, but it also came with this brilliant double printed dress piece. Why do they include this in a €200 playset 6 years ago, but they don't in the €1,000 UCS Death Star? It's not good enough, so I'd of course change out her plain legs for that dress piece, which is something I genuinely can't believe they didn't do here. I also would have included a second copy of this Leia minifigure, but again, I'll get more into that a little bit later. Han here is next, and this is just an obvious missed opportunity. For the Master Builder Series Betrayal at Cloud City set, they gave Han these incredible dual molded and side printed leg pieces, which was honestly probably the highlight of that set. And this set was the perfect opportunity to do the same for episode 4 Han, like this, where you give him the black boots he very clearly should have had when you look at the movie, with side leg printing too. Stormtrooper Han and Chewbacca are fine, no complaints at all when it comes to their execution. However, like Luke and Leia, this set should have come with more of them. I think this set should have enough copies of every character to fill out every scene in the set at the same time. It's actually ridiculous that you only get 1 of each to fill out this entire set. Like, look at this image from Jay's Brickblog's review. If you have Han and Chewbacca in this hall fighting these two, then Luke is just left in the trash compactor by himself, which looks terrible. If you have it set up even more accurately, with Han and Chewbacca in the control area with Luke searching the cells, then the trash compactor is completely empty. If you just have Leia swinging with Luke all the way over here, then the trash compactor scene will always be missing somebody. And I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. The whole idea of this UCS Death Star, the whole point of it, is that it's a collection of dioramas depicting scenes from the movies. If you can't actually recreate a scene faithfully without compromising another, then you just haven't included enough figures in the set. Like, it's not complete. This set should have come with a second Chewbacca minifigure and a second Stormtrooper Han, alongside the second Stormtrooper Stormtrooper Luke and Leia to fill these 3 areas. And I don't think that's just me being greedy, I think that's just finishing the fucking set. I'd actually take this a step further and say that I think this set should have come with a 3rd Chewbacca minifigure, this time with handcuffs, and 2 extra Stormtroopers to place each side of him to represent that scene where Han and Luke are faking a prisoner transport. Fair warning, this absolutely won't be the last time I bring up this specific issue, because I think it is a massive problem. Moving on a little, and Ben Kenobi here looks good at a glance, so this might be a bit of a hot take, but I think this figure is awful. Throughout the entire movie, he wears a long, flowing robe with sleeves that drape over his torso and down onto his legs. But for some reason, LEGO decided that an acceptable substitution would be to just give him a big cape and a hood. Why did they do it like this? This isn't good enough. His sleeves should obviously be brown, and his robe should be printed on his torso and legs like Vader's is. This just isn't a cape, I don't know what else to say. Printing his robe on is exactly the approach they used for him in the Obi-Wan TV series, Obi-Wan from episode 2, and, most importantly, it's the way they did it for him back in 2014. So I'd do the same thing for him here as well, by recoloring his torso into a reddish brown and printing the robe details directly on, with that detail extending down into his leg prints. Even though I don't think it's 100% accurate, I think I would still keep the cape piece just because it's sort of tradition to give it to Jedi minifigures, and it does add to the volume of his outfit, which just feels a bit better than if he had nothing at all. I'd also include a second copy of this figure so that you can recreate the duel with Vader in this area without compromising the scene where he deactivates the tractor beam. And now we get to C-3PO, which is easily the most egregious and unexplainably shitty minifigure decision in the set. Seriously, why did they put an upgraded, high-quality C-3PO with the dual-molded silver leg and arm printing in the €240 UCS Landspeeder, the €140 C-3PO sculpture set, and even a €6 keychain, but decide to downgrade it and use this dogshit printed silver one in the €1,000 UCS Death Star? Like, this is supposed to be the most ultra-premium, luxury collectible LEGO set ever made. This figure is still being produced, and yet they still downgrade it for this set. There's no reason for this. I genuinely just don't get it. So I'd of course change the C-3PO out for the better version that they're still currently making. R2-D2 does have the back printing here, so that's totally fine, whatever. And now we move on to Tarkin, and this is a really obvious one here in that he 100% just should have had dual molded legs. I actually don't think you can find a better example of a character that desperately needed dual molded legs. Like, just look at how much more complete this figure looks with them. You wouldn't even need to, like, print them or anything. Like, there's no discussion to be had here. It's just so obvious. Same thing with the C-3PO. Like, how does this make it all the way through production without somebody pointing this out? Moving on, and I think this version of Darth Vader is pretty much perfect. I think we're very used to him by now, but like there is almost nothing you can do to improve this thing. Like, I love the 2-part helmet design and the arm printing. It's all just brilliant, to be honest. However, looking at the movie again, he does have red eye lenses in certain scenes, so I think this is just like as good a place as any to make that final upgrade, so that's what I'd do. They already acknowledged this idea on the box art for the Obi-Wan Kenobi sets, and it looks great there, so yeah, this is just something that I think would be really cool to see them do, even if they do just include those red eyes as like an optional alternate top part for his helmet to swap around if you prefer. I'd also have included 2 extra copies of this figure in the set, so that you could have him dueling Luke in the throne room and dueling Ben down in this area, while also having him like chill in the meditation chamber. You could make the argument that a 4th would be good to have just for greeting the Emperor in this area, or even just to attend this meeting in this area, but I think 3 is fair enough. Like, I don't want to go too overboard here. Emperor Palpatine's an interesting one because my issues with him aren't really related to his quality so much as the artistic decisions they made with him. First things first, I don't actually like his skin tone here. Like, I think the older grey colour they used for him before was much more accurate. This, like, sickly yellow colour they use now is a bit more vibrant and debatably nicer looking for a LEGO figure, but for a set like this, I think I would actually just go back to the grey skin. Similarly, I still don't like the pupil as face print, and I know that's potentially a controversial take, but I think the black pupil print just completes the Sith eyes design, and I'd 100% bring those back. The Imperial Dignitary is next, and once again the solution here is really simple. I think using a dress piece for him was a great decision, but again, I just can't stand unprinted pieces like this, so I'd definitely have added some printing here just to actually finish this figure. Colonel Yularen is next, and we may as well include Admiral Motti and General Tagge into this discussion here too, because the solution for the 3 of them is as simple as it is predictable, and that's that they all should have had dual molded legs for their boots. I don't want to keep repeating myself here, but seriously, why are LEGO skimping out on dual molded legs in this set of all places? Like, I know LEGO has a part budget and they try to maximize the reusability of leg pieces where they can. Like, if we look at the Daily Bugle set from 2021, for example, I get why they didn't print Spider-Gwen's legs, because they could just give her unprinted black ones and reuse that part for J. Jonah Jameson, Venom, and Blade. Similarly, not printing the Punisher's legs means you can just reuse this part for Black Cat and suddenly you have 2 leg pieces for 6 characters. But that's a €350 set. This is almost 3 times the price, and you can still reuse the dual molded legs. The only characters that use unprinted grey legs in this set are all the characters that should have had dual molded ones. None of them have the need for any specialized printing, like they're all wearing the same outfit. It's not even like LEGO are saving that much money by doing it this way either, because the dual molded version is actually cheaper than the regular ones on LEGO's Pick-a-Brick service. Once again, this is just an inexcusably bad design decision, and I seriously don't get it. Moving on, and Director Krennic looks great, but I can't help but feel like the end of his shirt print should extend further down into his leg pieces. On the figure, it just abruptly cuts off immediately after his belt, whereas really his belt should be about halfway down his shirt. So I changed his waist piece to be white and add some printing like this just to finish the figure. I'd like to do just whatever I can here, because this is one of the display plaque figures, like they're usually really high quality. For Galen Erso, I think my main gripe with him is his hairpiece. The fringe is kind of accurate, but I think the rest of the hairpiece is just way too short and doesn't really capture the vibe of the character all that well. I think using Anakin's hairpiece recolored to nougat would have been a much better fit for the character, since the fringe is actually more accurate, the flow of the hair feels a bit better, and it captures the length of it a bit better too with that bit at the back. It's not perfect, but I still think it's the best option for this character. I'd also, again, just add some printing for his legs. Nothing too fancy, but I think some toe printing to allude to his shoes would have gone a long way, and feel a lot more balanced and detailed alongside the black of his belt print. 560 RA7 is absolutely perfect, no notes, and now we get to the Stormtroopers. In terms of their quality, I think they're fine. I know some people really don't like the Family Guy helmets, but I don't mind them, and I don't think there's ever a world where they redesigned them again for this set, so that's not an issue. In terms of their quantity though, I think you should have enough Stormtroopers in the set to fill out every section with as many Stormtroopers as you can at all times. As it is, if you were to recreate this promotional image, for example, it leaves you with only 2 Stormtroopers to fill out the rest of the set, which isn't nearly enough in my mind. This section with Ben deactivating the tractor beam, I think this dude should have come with one more guy with him just to be talking to as he walks through, especially since that's how many are seen sticking around at the end of the scene in the movie. The scene with Han running from the Stormtroopers definitely needs more than 2 of them, so there should at least be enough to feel like he's hopelessly outnumbered in the set. I could argue for 4, but again, given the space, I think 3 would be fine. Like, you want it to be a little bit crowded in this area, but not distractingly so. For the scene where Luke and Leia are swinging over the gap, there should be a Stormtrooper standing in the doorway shooting at them, since that was the whole point of the scene. Like, it's supposed to be intense and dangerous, not just them swinging for the fun of it like they're jumping into a lake or something. I think there should be 2 Stormtroopers chilling up here just to make the halls feel a bit more patrolled, but I'd accept just a single one up here with a mouse droid just for the sake of not going too overboard. And you'd of course want 6 for this hangar area just to recreate this image, meaning I'd be upping the Stormtrooper count in this set from 6 to at least 14. This might sound like a lot, but again, €1,000 set. But also, this is a UCS Death Star. Like, they should stuff it with Stormtroopers like they stuffed the Republic dropship and AT-OT with clone troopers. So I actually think I'm being pretty fair here. 2 Imperial gunners is perfectly fine. 2 Imperial crew members is a fine amount too. And I really like the quality of them here too, especially with that reused Dedra Meero cap/hairpiece. And I'm surprised they didn't give these guys unprinted light grey legs, since they're mostly just sitting down. I don't 100% know whether they should have boots or not, but my vibes-based assessment here is that the regular shoes are probably more fitting since they're lower in the chain of command. So, like Galen Erso, I'd have added some toe printing on these guys just to get that detail in. These next 4 figures are totally fine to me, and to be honest, even if they weren't, I really just don't care that much about them. Like, these guys being serviceable is good enough for me. They're not the focal point of the set. 2 Imperial Royal Guards is an appropriate amount, but I really don't like how they're done here. Again, those pure red unprinted leg pieces are truly awful for a set this expensive. If I were in charge of these guys, I'd throw out these leg pieces and replace them with printed dress pieces like the Praetorian Guards had in Snoke's throne room from 2018. In a similar way to Ben Kenobi, you can maybe argue that the cape isn't necessary or very accurate either. Like, maybe a recolored thinner cape piece would have been better. This is actually how they did the Royal Guards in the Skywalker saga, so again, it's not that far-fetched since LEGO have already acknowledged this idea elsewhere. R3-T6 I really don't care about because it's just another astromech droid. But even at that, it really should have back printing like R2-D2 has. They don't even need to get fancy here, like just copy and paste R2's print and you'd be fine. But no, God forbid they do anything here that isn't the bare minimum in this €1,000 Lego set. And finally, we have the Hot Tub Stormtrooper, which is by far the best minifigure in the set. Which is kind of a damning statement if you really think about it. Like, the highest quality, best minifigure in this €1,000 set with 38 original trilogy characters is a joke conclusion that you don't even see when displaying the set. But whatever, let's not dwell on it. I have no complaints about the quality here, like he is just goated. And I know this is an Easter egg and the fact that there's a hot tub at all is just a fun detail for fans, but it is killing me that he's alone here. Like, was there really no way to maybe stretch out that hot tub by 5 or 6 studs just to include 2 more of this guy? I've been pretty fair, I think, up until this point. Like, this may actually be pushing it and asking for a bit too much. But then again, Lego were asking for a bit too much when they made this €1,000. So fuck it. Yeah, give me a bigger hot tub and 2 more figures. And with that, there you go, my improved and expanded minifigure selection for the UCS Death Star. When I set out to start this video, I really thought I'd just be fixing Han, C-3PO, and maybe a few dual molded legs here and there, but the more I looked at this minifigure selection and tried to place them all in the set, the more disgusted I got with Lego's greed. Both in terms of the quality and quantity of minifigures here, Lego genuinely did the absolute bare minimum. Like, they really didn't go above and beyond for anything here. This picture here is probably the most charitable way you can organize the figures they actually bothered to include here. And even still, you have Luke in the trash compactor alone, an empty meditation chamber, these 3 having a meeting without Vader, these 2 swinging just for fun, Ben casually working on this panel with no troopers around, and these halls filled with characters just standing there aimlessly. It's just not a finished set, and no matter how cool the idea is, or how fun it'd be to put together, or how big it is in person, Lego has been disgustingly greedy with this and is absolutely not even close to good enough. But yeah, that's it for me anyway. Let me know if you think I've been unfair here, or maybe that I'm asking for too much or something. I'd be really interested to see what ye think would actually make the set worth the €1,000 if it already isn't worth it to you. Thanks very much for watching, and farewell.